Down here at the Victory Garden. It's the end of the third week of July and it's hot as hell. So it's a perfect time to harvest my potatoes and my onions. It's 93 degrees out. It says it feels like it's 104. So that's a fun time to actually be out here picking crops. But I was down here yesterday and one of the potato plants was completely dead, so I figured I'd harvest the whole thing. I got a little excited, so I ended up picking out about 3 to 4 plants worth of potatoes, and I got over 8 pounds of potatoes. So the harvest is off to a good start. But I've also been watching the weather. I've been trying to let everything die back as much as possible. It dried out. We've been lucky, no rain for a while. But today there's a 50% chance of rain later in the afternoon and a 50% chance of rain over the weekend. So I figured it's time to get down here and get them out before they get all wet and open them up to potential rot. So I've been saying all along, this is the front bed here along the pathway, and this is bed 4 for me. I've been saying all along that the potatoes in here are russet potatoes. Now, when I harvested them yesterday, they look more like white superior than russets. So we'll see what else we get in here. Because who knows what I planted? Certainly not me. Because it is a gazillion degrees out here, who knows how long I'm going to be out here. But we'll go as long as I can. So we're off to a good start. Harvesting the potatoes, grow them in a bed like this. Not as easy to harvest as when they're in a bucket, but I think my yields are a little bit higher. And the potatoes seem to grow a lot larger too. Like I said, these all look like white superiors. So but they all look like good eating potatoes. I did pull up one, but I think was either a Caribe or a Sharpo Mira, and I think that's what this is right here. So they're not growing very big, but it's a few potatoes. I hope those aren't the russets, because that would be very disappointing. Because I did think the Caribe and the Sharpo Mira were red, but these look kind of white. But maybe the Sharpo Mira isn't a red potato. Trying to get out all the little things too, so I don't have any volunteer potato plants tomorrow. I mean, tomorrow, next year. I did find that the potatoes seem to like to grow right along the edge of the bed. Found a lot of potatoes yesterday, all caught up right along the edge of the bed. considering the start to the year the potatoes had, with my tearing their roots out so much. So far, as I said, I'm pretty happy. I think that's been 3 plants so far that we've done, and so far so good, I think. If I end up getting about 2+ pounds of potatoes per plant, I'll be very happy. Would I like more? Sure. But I think that's a good return on the potatoes that I planted. Still pulling more out. Some of these potatoes are probably from adjacent plants. But that's okay. They're all coming out today. At least by digging with my hands, I don't risk damaging the potatoes as if I tried to dig them up. Plus the soil's soft enough where I can just pull them out by hand. Looks like we got 3 more plants to go. I'm not going to take those real small ones off of there. And there's only 2 more plants to go. Okay. Some plants are far more prolific than others. Which always strikes me as weird, since they all got the same care and treatment as the plants next to them. For the most part, it looks like the potatoes grew into just the where I planted them. That's where they basically grew their potatoes. So there was nothing going deeper or anything like that. As I find these wood chips in the bed, I'll pull them out, throw them back into the path. I think what I'm planting here next is a squash, but I'm not certain. Got to look at my plan.
mostly grew on top of the native soil. This one looks like it had a hole eaten in it. Get up there. Oh, there's another one here I thought I saw. A couple. Okay.
So the camera cut out on me because of the heat. Just I was saying that if you watch Charles Dowding, who really popularized the no-dig method, when he pulls out potatoes, potatoes just pop right up to the top. No problem. I didn't have that happy circumstance, but I was able to harvest a lot. I finished up that one bed, skipped the middle bed, went up to the other bed, and tell you, I said that the potatoes grow right along the side of the bed. Well, in that far bed, the potatoes were growing underneath the frame of the bed. And probably my largest potato of any was one of those. It took me about 10 minutes to get it out of the bed because I was trying not to damage it. But let me show you what I got. So this is what we ended up with. Despite the little markers that I had that said red Nordlands, Sharpo mirror. I don't think there were any red Nordlands. We only had the Sharpo mirrors and the russets. They just didn't produce. I thought I had more russets than anything else, but apparently I had more white superior than anything else. So let's just look at the 3 beds again all at once. So this is the first bed we harvested, and it did pretty good. Yesterday I took out about 8+ pounds, so I'll add that to whatever this total is. So this was probably the most productive bed. This was the one I harvested last. That was very disappointing. It might actually keep me from doing my 2 pounds per plant, but we'll see. And then this was the last bed. So this was probably the second most productive bed. Still a decent harvest, and taken in total, they're pretty nice. So now I'm gonna weigh them by bed to see what our grand total is in potatoes this year. So it's just starting to rain, so I guess the weatherman was right. And so I'm glad I got my potatoes out. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to get to my onions yet. So hopefully the rain won't be too bad. But I got myself a simple scale here, and what I'm going to do is just take a Walmart bag. Well, first I'm going to turn it on. Let's see what we got here. Are we in pounds? Okay, so we're in pounds. I'm going to hang this from the hook and get a base weight. I'll tear it out, and I'll go collect my potatoes. Well, we had to cut that short because the skies opened up. It's pouring. Just got the potatoes back to the truck in time. They're mostly dry. So I'll take them back to the greenhouse and I'll weigh them there. So the rainstorm lasted about 5-10 minutes, and then the clouds parted, the sun came out. I'm not sure it made it any better out, but we got the potatoes back home. As I said, relatively dry. So now I'm gonna weigh them. I know the bags weigh 0.06 ounces, so I can end up deducting that from the weight. I'm gonna start with the worst bed first. And let's see what we get. So 7.2 pounds. So that was a disappointment. Because as I said yesterday, just from 4 plants in that other bed, I got over 8 pounds. So the next bed is the upper bed I did when my camera turned off because of the heat. And I split the potatoes up into 2 bags just because I think it was just too heavy for 1 bag. Maybe I should turn the scale on first. So this is the first bag. And that's exactly 7.8, but we got to subtract 0.06, so 7.72. This is the second part of that one, and it's exactly the same. I couldn't have been that good dividing up the potatoes. Hold on a second. Oh, okay. Let me tear that out. Okay. Now put it on there. So that's a 7.33, so 7.27 for that one. So I forget what I said the other one was. I'll have to look at the video and add them together. But it's about 14, 15 pounds. A little under what I was expecting. So this is the final bed, or the first bed actually, that you saw me harvest. And I divided this up into 2 bags. And this bed actually filled up the entire bag. Oh, I think I'm gonna need to get another bag. Hold on. Okay, got a new bag. And let's see, we're at 0. .07, so 6.01. This one is much lighter, so I'm thinking like 4 pounds maybe. Oh, geez. Tear. Oh, wait a second, we're doing kilograms all of a sudden. Hold on. Let's try that again. Tear, unit, pounds. Okay, now let's try. .42, so 7.36, and now let me do the other one again, since we're doing kilograms. 10 pounds maybe on this one. Oh, nice. 13.53, so 13.47. So over 20 pounds of potatoes from that first bed. Wow. Now I did kind of have high hopes that all the beds were going to produce like that. So, oh, not only was it 20 pounds, but there was the 8 pounds that I harvested yesterday. So it was like 28 pounds of potatoes. Holy cow. That's a lot of potatoes from that bed. So 28, and then that one, what did I say? It was about 14 pounds and change. So 28 and 14 is 42. And I think that other one was like 6, 7 pounds. So almost 50 pounds of potatoes. I consider that a success. no matter how bad those other beds were. From 36 potatoes. So I didn't get my 2 pounds per plant, that's for sure. But I sure as heck made my money's worth on it, considering the potatoes were basically all free. Although they're not russets like I thought they were. So I don't know what the heck I planted where I got all those superior whites from, or white superiors. But I'm pretty happy about that. Okay, I used all my brain cells to add it up, and my door jamb, and the final tally for all the potatoes from all 3 beds, 55.19 pounds. That's tremendous. Almost 2 pounds per plant. But that means that first bed, that actually had 32.5 pounds of potatoes from it. That's incredible. How did I get 32.5 pounds of potatoes from there? Wow. That excites me. Makes me just want to grow white superior potatoes. They did great. Can't say I'm going to bother with the Sharpo mirrors anymore. I don't know what happened to my red Nordlands. Although it said they were in there, they all looked the same. The Sharpo mirrors and the red Nordlands, whatever they weren't much. Now in the past, I've actually done pretty good with red Nordlands, but so I'll probably grow them again because Mrs. Triple G likes the red potatoes. But the white superior did really well. Shocked that the russets, that they didn't really produce. They didn't get any size on them or anything like that. I did notice with the soil in that bed, it wasn't as loose and friable as the other 2 beds. I don't know why. They're all basically the same. There was a heck of a lot more worm activity in that bed though. And when I was digging them up, there was a lot of baby worms all over the place. So just a whole weird situation. But like I said, the ground just wasn't the same as the other beds. I consider 55 pounds of potatoes from 36, actually, a lot of those were almost all of them were cut potatoes. And there was hardly any whole potatoes that I planted. So I'm really quite happy. As I said, I'm gonna consider that a success. But if you want to see what we were doing in the garden last week, check this video right here, and then subscribe and hit that notification bell. And that way you can follow along in the progress on all of our vegetables as we try to grow a supermarket in our own backyard or down at the Victory Garden. Okay, thanks for watching.